Hello random person, Sab Nino here, and I've been looking forward to this movie for a while. With the more footage I saw, it led to the point where I had to see an early showing with my slushy cup. The response to the movie, out of what I've seen, is surprisingly split. Some critics really hate it, while some absolutely love it. Before you say anything, looking at these reviews don't reflect my opinion at all. Or is it a way for me to homogenize my opinion? If that was the case, I would have given Teen Titans Go to the Movies a higher rating. So, does it live up to the hype? Well, let's figure it out after a smack roll of honey. And Woozle got it beforehand.
I was pretending that there was a Heffalump, but of course there wasn't really a Heffalump.
Are you hearing yourself? You need to quit.
I think that decision's about to be made for me.
In terms of plot, I was surprised on how adult it was. It starts with Pooh and the gang celebrating Christopher Robin going away to boarding school. And then after the cast gets I think a sugar high due to the cake Christopher brought, Christopher and Pooh Bear have a talk alone on a signature log, showcasing how this is a continuation of the 1970s film.
I won't ever forget about you, Pooh. I promise. Not even when I'm 100.
After that, it shows a montage with very little dialogue of Chris slowly losing his childlike tendencies through school, his father dying, World War II, and it's been affecting his family. But during this time, while Christopher Robin put his childhood friends on the back burner, Pooh Bear didn't. He lost his friends, so he finds Christopher all the way in London through the door which he used to come from. He finds Christopher and asks him to help him find his friends in the 100-acre wood. Then they meet up. Christopher overslept for work, but forgot his papers due to a mistake Tigger made. So Pooh and pals go to London again to give them back to him, finding Madeline in the process.
You must be Madeline.
Wait, you're the bear of my father's drawings.
Yes. Do you know where he is?
Remember in the second trailer reaction video I did, I predicted Madeline was gonna be childhood friend with Pooh Bear? It turns out I was right, but not in the way I expected. I expected it to be more like Toy Story 3, where Christopher gives them up and just gives them to Madeline. But in the film, it's not just Madeline, but Christopher's entire family. The way I see it, the film both has a subtle message and an ongoing message. The ongoing message is doing nothing leads to the best something. And the subtle one, I think, is living in the moment due to how much of a workaholic Christopher became and how Pooh Bear is more down to earth, enjoying the little things such as a balloon. It has a few flaws with pacing and focus sometimes, but I love how mature yet charming this story is.
Your life is happening now, right in front of you.
I am sorry, Madeline.
Very effective. Not only do they show it with body language and dialogue exchange, but there's also subtle things, like during Christopher's talk with Madeline, when saying goodnight, he doesn't even give her a hug or a kiss, showcasing how distant he is from the family. And when she finds one of his old drawings, he accidentally knocks it over with honey. I love how they don't spell everything out and just leave some things vague. But some scenes where they just talk, like how Christopher Robin tells Pooh Bear that he's not a child anymore, and using the phrase bear of very little brains in a more negative light, which hurts him emotionally later in the film. It's also very charming as well, like when Pooh finally meets Christopher, and their interaction. It's almost like a father-son bond, especially when Pooh hugs adult Chris when he's scared.
It's not stress.
I'm stressed.
It's Pooh.
So exhausted. Madeline warned me.
I like to be warmed. Warmed and cozy.
This part of the film is what it does best, even doing it better than the previous incarnations.
And the game is called Say What You See. You first, Panic, worry, catastrophe.
Since Winnie the Pooh is a very character-driven franchise, this part is very important. I'm gonna start with Christopher Robin, cause that's the title. Christopher was a little boy who grew up to be a workaholic dad dealing with conflict with keeping a job but also living in the moment. It even got so bad that he doesn't even laugh or goof off around as much as he used to, though it does get better as the movie progresses. Evelyn is Christopher's wife and she's a good character, but I feel like she needed more time to develop. Madeline also has this issue, but I think she has more development. At the start, Christopher tries preparing her for boarding school to prepare her for the real world. But later on in the film, she doesn't want to go because she wants to spend more time with her family. It's cliche, but I think the execution makes up for it. The 100 Acre Wood Gang haven't changed a bit. But out of all of them, Winnie the Pooh is the one I loved even more in this movie than I ever did in the other incarnations. Mostly because in the original, everything was all fine and dandy, for the most part. But here, he's been put into more unfortunate situations, like losing his friends, adult Christopher giving up on him, and the busyness of London. He even says there's too much day, and it's very believable that he probably hasn't had an experience anything this stressful. And I love how he still recognizes Christopher Robin through his eyes, indicating how in touch he is with the soul. Though the rest of the gang aren't as well developed as Pooh Bear, but that's okay because they didn't ruin them at all. Piglet is still the scaredy cat, though for some reason he's British, which I think fits the environment.
You must be Christopher Robin's wife. Ha! How do you do?
Tigger is hyper and bouncy, Eeyore is depressed, and definitely got a few laughs out of me. Kanga and Roo don't do much, but it's cool to see them again. Owl's back to being wise and telling long-winded stories, which is an improvement of the 2011 film. And Rabbit is the perfectionist of the group. But I don't like how generic his voice is. That with the design just doesn't stand out to me in the slightest. And for the boss Christopher Robin works for, he's just a stereotypical boss who's close-minded and sleazy. Yeah, the boss character is needed for this plot, but he's just too silly and obviously the bad guy in a mostly subtle movie. He blends in more with an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie than he does this one. But overall, they did a really great job getting the personalities right. But Pooh Bear is definitely the one they put full force on.
I've lost all of my friends. We need to find them.
This part is very interesting. The background score is whimsical and fits the tone of the film. And I love how they cleverly put in the theme song during some scenes, though I wish they did a remake of the actual song. I also find it kind of interesting how both versions of the Winnie the Pooh score are meant to be lullaby music when Pooh Bear's falling asleep. There's also a song at the beginning where during the party celebrating Christopher Robin's goodbye, and it's very easy to get into your head. I love it. There's also two songs in this movie that were in the original movie, like Pooh Bear's Exercise and Tigger's theme, though they slowed them down a bit due to the limitations of the real world, like how Tigger isn't as fast-paced, and Pooh's grunting while he touches the ground. Also, he can't spin his head in a 360 degree, so they're not as good as the original, but I'm glad they put them in as a callback. Also, after the credits, there's two songs written by the writer of the classic film. And if they were to be in the classic film, they wouldn't feel out of place. It's just a shame how they aren't in the movie itself, because they would fit the context of the film. Overall, I love this.
You can't just keep saying hello to people. People can't see you moving and talking.
But why?
The lighting can be muted and gray, but also lighthearted. So it's not all gloomy, though don't expect the most positive feelings. But they have those too. They definitely have those too. The camera angles are great, and they really did a good job with the environment. They really put the wood in 100 Acre Wood. They did a really good job with how organic and whimsical it is. And the character animation is really great too. They really studied the body language of the characters and their quirks. Who hands down is my favorite design. If how he's written wasn't heartwarming enough, the design makes it even better. For only having dots for eyes, he sure feels lively. Even when he's pretending to be dead, he still has a lot of life to him. Piglet is good too, though his fabric doesn't look as comfortable, which doesn't matter since he looks really good. I also like how the color palette is reversed to represent the A.A. Milne's book. Though I got a little used to Tigger's design, I can't get over how he doesn't have noticeable stripes. I understand the eyes because that's what the real Tigger plush, the real Christopher Robin owned, looked like. But you know what else he has? Stripes. I don't understand the decision, and don't give me the excuse on how he's meant to be worn out. because even when Chris was young, he had this design. Eeyore is great too, though his eyes took some getting used to. Heng and Roo are also great design-wise too. Owl's rather realistic, but it fits, though I wish he had more of a brown color palette. And I don't understand the decision of making Rabbit a real, well, rabbit. I'm not sure if he's meant to be real or a plush toy like the rest anymore. And since he's a real rabbit in this film, how did he not age or die? I don't know how long a rabbit lives, so please forgive me. Overall, the graphics are amazing. The angles look great along with the lighting, and the designs don't feel as limited as most Disney live-action remakes do. Some of the designs could have done with a redraft. They did a really fantastic job. Christopher Robin is easily my favorite Disney remake by far. Great designs, wonderful story, and is a great film for anyone who grew up with the original films and books. I'm not sure if kids would enjoy this, but I'm sure they'll like the animated parts. With all this positive talk of this movie, it's pretty predictable that this will be a high rating. And you'd be right, because I'm giving this movie an 8 out of 10. Not only did this film live up to my expectations, it surpassed them. If you had any connection with Winnie the Pooh, or as someone who's been stressed out with adulting lately, I'd highly recommend this film. And this isn't just my nostalgia talking. Is it perfect? No. Nor did I expect it to be. But this movie will sure be a timeless classic from years to come. Also, what did you guys think of this movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it fit the source material? Was too much not like the source material? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Now for some plugs. I have a Discord now, so if you just want to chat with me or the fan base in a small little community, you can do so there. Follow me on Instagram, DeviantArt, Twitter, and I am a part of quite a bit of Aminos, including my own Sab Nino Amino. Also check out my Redbubble account to get some merchandise of your favorite SabNino characters. And if you can't find a lot of my best animated work through the sea of content, go to SabNino.com to find it all there. You'll still be supporting the channel watching them on the website. Also please subscribe, ring the bell icon, like and share the video with your friends, and let's see if we can hit 1,000 subscribers. And if you don't know the drill by now, eat some mochi, watch cartoons, and drink some boba. Hasta la vista.
Deep in the 100-acre wood, where Christopher Robin plays, you'll find the enchanted neighborhood of Christopher's childhood days. A donkey named Eeyore is his friend. There's King of Love and Little Roo and Tigger too. There's Rabbit and Piglet and there's Owl. But most of all, Winnie the Pooh. Oh, Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Chubby little cubby all stuffed with fluff. He's Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Willy-nilly silly old bear.